Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, you can see it perfectly.
Hare Krishna. So let's chant the Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Purjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome you all once again in our Wednesday session. So we were being discussing it on chapter 10, isn't it? In chapter 10 we have came along a long way, and we are just nearly finishing this chapter today, hopefully. So what I thought, because in the last 2 weeks we discussed about Lord Damodara pastime in the Damodara month, so I thought to recap chapter 10 once again a bit, and then so that we are in connection with what we are discussing about. So I would request if we can read from 18 till text 33 on translation, so that we know what the continuation of this discussion as well, right? So anyone wants to read a couple of verses, or one by one we can read?
Okay.
Okay.
How many verses, Prabhu? 2-3 verses or?
Yeah, you can read three verses. Start from text 18.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Text 18. O Janardana, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satisfied in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. Text 19. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent. O Arjuna, for my opulences is limitless. Text 20. I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Hare Krishna.
Anyone wants to read any more?
Text 21. 21, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marisi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Text 22. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in living beings, I am the living force, consciousness. Text 23. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yaksas and Rakasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire. And of mountains, I am Meru. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone want to read any more? Couple of more
Yes,
verses?
Prabhu.
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Of priests, O Arjuna, know me To be the chief Brahaspati of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Text 25. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Text 26. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila.
Hare Krishna.
Take- Hare Krishna.
Let me read a couple of those. Text 27. Of horses know me to be Uchisarva, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants I am Airavata, and among men I am the monarch. Text 28. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt, among cows I am the Suravi, of causes for procreation I am the Kandharpa, the god of love, and of the serpents I am the Vasuki. Text 29. Of the many hooded Nagas I am Ananta, and among the aquatics I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law I am Yama, and the lord of death. Anyone else want to read till text 23 and 4 verses? Sorry, 33. Next 4 verses. Okay, let me continue. Text 30. Among the Daityas, demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among the birds, I am Garuda. Text 31. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the winders of weapon, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of the flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Text 32. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end and also the middle. O Arjuna, of all science, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among the logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Text 33. Of letters, I am letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound, and I am also inexhaustible time, and the creator, I am Brahma. Hare Krishna. So that's basically we discussing these verses one by one, and we have come to text 33, and we have repeatedly saw that how Krishna is saying that he is actually prominent of everything. Any category we take, and the prominent of that category, that is Krishna. Right. So we'll continue from text 34, so that we end same where. Please repeat after me if it's possible. Mrityuh
Mrityuhu
Sarva Sarva
Sarva
Chaham
Chaham
Aham
Udbhavash
Udbhavash
Cha
Cha
Bhavishyatam
Bhavishyatam
Kirtihi
Pitrihi
Shirir
Shri
Shivi
Vak
Cha
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 Narinam
Triyanam
Smritir
Tir
Medha
Medha
Kritihi
Kritih
Nama
Yama
Sarvaharaschaham
Mrityuh
Udbhavascha Bhavishyatam
Udbhavasya Bhavishyatam
Kirte Shirvakcha Narinam
Kite Sirvakshanaryanam
Mitir Medha Dhritis Sakshama.
Smritir
Meda Dhritistasya
So Krishna explaining again his opulences to Arjuna. Already he's told that my opulences are unlimited, but I will tell you the prominent one. And he continues saying, I am the all-devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. So Krishna earlier told that I am time, I'm Kalosmi, I am time. And time deteriorates everything, isn't it? So we see time kills us every moment. However, death means that is again, as time comes at the end and is becomes a death. And death is what? we all know. So death is basically is an separation between the living being and the body. The living being is our Chetana, the soul, and the metal body. It gets depart. And what happened at that time? So whatever we have, everything with us, the family, the money, the opulences, the bank, bungalow, car, everything actually get completely detached from us. Soul never dies. Soul just leaves the body. He takes another one. And that's Krishna saying, I am that all devouring death. And again, not only death, Krishna says that I am generating principle for all that is yet to be. So even birth is Krishna. Right. So this Udbhava is a birth actually. So death is Krishna, Mrityu, death is Krishna, and Udbhava, generation, birth is Krishna. So our birth is Krishna and death is Krishna. And among women, I am all these opulences. There are Prabhupada mentions about 7 opulences, like fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, and patience, other things. So Prabhupada mentions the purport very nicely that as soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment, isn't it? That's a fact, because everyone is approaching towards his death. Some person may approach in a month, some approach in a year, some approach for many years, but it's actually everyone is approaching toward that. And thus death is devouring every living entity at every moment, and the last stroke is called death itself. So still we are approaching toward death, but still we haven't faced death yet. That time is taking away. But when we approach the death, the last time, that is called a death. Right. And Prabhupada mentioned very nicely here that as for future development, all living entity undergo 6 basic principles that we understood from chapter 2. That basically they are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, they dwindle, and then finally they vanish. These are the 6 stages for everything, every living being, isn't it? And then Prabhupada explains about the 7 opulences listed, like fame, fortune, fine speech, memory. So prominent of everything is actually Krishna. If you see someone is fortunate, so the fortune itself is Krishna. If you see someone is famous, that's fame itself is Krishna. So everything is connected to Krishna himself. It's coming from Krishna himself. Prabhupada mentions here, if a man is famous as a righteous man, that man is glorious. That makes him glorious. So famous with righteous man. So famous with good manner, if not about by cheating or by making gambling things, right? That person is called as glorious, and that famous or that fame is corresponds to Krishna, right? And the ability not only to read many books on different subject matter, but to understand them and apply them when necessary is intelligence. That's medha, is another opulences. So Krishna explains about the fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence. Krishna says again earlier that I give the intelligence by which we can come back to Krishna, right? To come back to his own opulence. Even see the very important thing, the kshama, the quality of giving kshama or patience is also is coming from Krishna himself, right? So let's see 35. Please repeat. Brihat,
Brihat,
Sham,
Sham,
Tatha,
Tatha
Tatha,
Ramnam,
Samna
Anam,
Gayatri,
Gayatri
Gayatri,
Chandasham,
Chandasa
Chandasam,
Aham,
Aham
Aham,
Mashanam,
Masam
Mashanam,
Marga,
Marga
Marga,
Shirsho,
Shir
Shirsho,
Ham,
Aham
Ham,
Itunam,
Rutunam
Tunam,
Makaraha,
Kusumakaraha
Makara,
Brihatsam Tatha Shamnam,
Bruhatsam Tatha
Satsanakashanam,
Gayatri Chandasham Aham,
Gayatri
Gayatri
Chandasa
Chandasamaham,
Mashanam Marga Shirshoham,
Masanam Margasirshoham,
Margasirham
Ritunam Kusumakaraha.
Ritunam Kusumakara.
So Krishna says of the I ams in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama. So even in Sama Veda, there's the Priyat is basically more elaborate, right? That's Krishna's Bihat Sama on that. And of the poetry, I'm the Gayatri. And of the months, I'm Margashish. So Krishna is represented with the month Margashish. And the following month, Kartik month, this Kartik month is a representation of Srimati Radharani. And that's why it's more kind of more opulent, because Krishna likes this month more. Krishna likes Radharani more. So that's Radharani likes Krishna more. So both way. And hence this month is more glorious, actually, Kartik month. But Krishna represents Margashish month, which actually is the next month coming after this. And from the season, Krishna is spring. Krishna is not spring. Actually, Krishna represents the spring season, right? So in the purport Prabhupada says, it has already been explained by the Lord that among all the Vedas, he is Samaveda. And even in the Samaveda is rich in beautiful songs played by the various demigods. And one of these songs is called Brihad Sama, which is an exquisite melody, and is sung at midnight. So that's represent Krishna. So even the Chandas, the Gayatri, poetry, Chandas, Krishna says, I am the Gayatri. So in Sanskrit, there are definite rules for regulative poetry, and rhymes and meter are not written whimsically, as in much modern poetry. Among the regulative poetry, the Gayatri mantra, which is chanted by the duly qualified Brahmanas, is the most prominent one. So Gayatri mantra, Gayatri mantra also represents Krishna himself, isn't it? So in this way, we see the month and also with the seasons. Okay. And here Krishna says why Krishna represents spring. Prabhupada says that of course spring is a season universally liked because it is neither too hot nor too cold, and the flowers and trees blossom and flourish. So that's representing Krishna itself. In spring, there are also many ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastimes. Therefore, this is considered to be the most joyful of all seasons, right? And it is the representative of Supreme Lord. So any category what we see, the highest or the supreme thing on that category is Krishna. The best among that is Krishna. If you see someone is powerful, the power is Krishna. If you see someone is famous, the fame is Krishna. If you see someone is very intelligent, the intelligence is Krishna, right? That represents Krishna. So let's see 36. Dyutam Chalayatam
Chalayatam
Ashmi
Asmi
Tejas
Tejas
Tejasvinam
Tejasvinam
Aham
Aham
Jayo
Jayo
Ashmi
Asmi
Vyavashayo
Vyavasayo
Ashmi
Asmi
Sattvam
Sattvam
Tattvatam
Tattvatam
Aham
Aham
Dyutam Chalayatam Ashmi
Dyutam Chalayatam Asmi
Tejasvinam Aham
Tejasvinam Aham
Yoshmi Vyavasayosmi
Jayasmi Vyasasmi
Tattvam Sattvatam Aham.
Sattvam Sattvatam Aham.
So the same concept again goes here. Krishna says, I am also the gambling of cheats. So even in cheating, the most prominent or the most powerful is, or the most way is cheating is the gambling. And Krishna says, I am that. So if you see, how can relate this? So Krishna is a great cheater, isn't it? So if you see the pastimes of Bali Maharaj and Vamanadev is Krishna himself, how Krishna cheated. He says, and Bali Maharaj, he says, if you want anything I can give you, just why asking for 3 steps? And Krishna's, Vamanadev says, no, I don't want anything. You just give me 3 steps. And see, just imagine in the 3 steps, no one could estimate what Krishna could take. But he just took everything, all the universe in 2 steps itself. And he says, where shall I put the 3rd step? So that's why you can say as Krishna is the greatest cheater. But but he is worshipped, right? And of the splendid, I'm the splendor. It means what? As I said earlier. So if someone is powerful, the power represents Krishna. If someone is beautiful, the beauty represents Krishna, as Krishna spoke earlier. And in victory, I am the victory, I am the adventure, and I'm the strength of the strong. Right. So there are many kinds of cheaters all over the universe. Of all the cheating process, gambling stands as supreme and therefore represents Krishna. As a supreme, Krishna can be more deceitful than any man ever, or any mere man. If Krishna chooses to deceive a person, no one can surpass him in the deceit. That's how Krishna is actually the topmost cheater if he want to cheat. Right. And his greatness is not simply one-sided, it's all-sided. See, even it's not about just Krishna cheated Bali Maharaj. Krishna actually, he became his servant as well after that, isn't it? He gave everything to him. So once Bali Maharaj gave everything to Krishna, Krishna also gave himself to Bali Maharaj. Right? It's not just one-sided. And among the victorious, Krishna is the victory. Right? He's splendor of splendid. Among the enterprising and industrious, he's the most enterprising and the most industrious. So basically, the topmost thing is Krishna. And even the strength, Prabhupada mentioned about the strength. Even in the strength, Krishna surpasses everything. So if you see any category, no one can cross Krishna. If famous, Krishna is the famous. No one can surpass Krishna in famous. In the riches, no one can surpass Krishna in the riches. The whole universe is his own. Right? Even the strength, no one can surpass the strength of Krishna. The Prabhupada mentioned here, even in his childhood, he lifted Govardhan Hill. Right, just a couple of, I think last week we celebrated Govardhan Puja, so where we know how Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill just in his, the weakest finger of this body, weakest part of this body, just pinky finger on the left hand. He lifted Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights continuously, and the Govardhan Hill was expanding so much that all the Brajavasis, they be inside this hill as a shelter, as an umbrella. Can we imagine how strong Krishna can be? Right. So in the similar way, no one can surpass him in cheating, and no one can surpass him in any kind of splendor, anything you say. Right. So that's how is Krishna is. That's Krishna explaining about his splendors more and more. Right. Let's see 37. Vrishnam
Vrishninam
Vasudevo
Vasudev
Vasudevo
me
Asmi
Pandavanam
Pandava
Pandavanam
Dhananjaya
Dhananjaya
Muninam
Muninam
Pi
Api
Api
Aham
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 Vyasah
Vyasa
Vyasah
Kavinam
Kavinam
Shana
Bhushana
Sana
Kavihi
Kavi
Krishnenam Vasudevosmi
Krishna
Risinam Vasudevasmi
Pandavanam Dhananjaya
Pandavanam Dhananjaya
Muninam Api Aham Vyasah
Muni
Muninam Api Aham
Vyasa
Vyasya
Kavinam Shana Kavihi.
Kavinam Usanam Kavi.
So we all know about this point. Vrishni dynasty, wherein Vasudeva was there. Vasudeva was there, and Krishna becomes the son of Vasudeva. That's called Vasudeva. So of the descendant of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. So from the Pandava, the prominent was Arjuna, and Krishna represents Arjuna, or Arjuna represents Krishna. And of the sages, I am the Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva is a compiler of all the literature to us. Because of only Vyasadeva, we could find this literature in written form. Right. And our the great thinkers, I am Ushna. Ushna is actually his the proper mention here. This Sukracharya, the priest of the demons, the Sukracharya. Right. So earlier, actually, Sukracharya, what happened is, in the past times earlier, the Devatas and the demons, the Devata wanted to have a priest, and Brihaspati was chosen. So Sukracharya wanted to become the priest of Devatas, but Brihaspati became the priest of Devatas, so he got a bit, anti-party, and then he became the priest for the demons, Sukracharya. Anyway, so the point is, on the descendant of Krishna is Vasudeva, and on the Pandavas, he is Arjuna, and from the sages, Vyasadeva, and from thinkers, he is Sukracharya. So Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Baladeva is Krishna's immediate expansion. Both Lord Krishna and Baladeva appear as son of Vasudeva, so both of them may be called Vasudeva. From the another point of view, because Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, all the forms of Krishna that appears elsewhere are his expansion. So Vasudeva is Krishna's immediate expansion, right? So there's more connection here. Prabhupada says about how Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So Krishna expands himself and go away. So Krishna never ever lived Vrindavan actually, right? So let's see. And here, as I discussed earlier, among the son of Pandu, Arjuna is the famous as Dhananjaya, and he's the best man and therefore represent Krishna. So I'll repeat the same line again. So any category you see, and the prominent one that represent Krishna, right? So Prabhupada mentions here, among the Kavis, Usana Sukracharya was a spiritual master of the demons, and he was extremely intelligent and far-seeing politician. And the Sukracharya is another representative of opulence of Krishna. So if you remember, in the Bali Maharaj pastimes, even Sukracharya, he warned to Bali Maharaj that you don't know this dwarf Brahmana. He is actually Vishnu. He's cheating you. And then when he says, Sukracharya says to Bali Maharaj, so what happened is once Bali Maharaj has said, okay, I'll fulfill the desire, right? I'll give you 3 steps. And then when he says that, next day morning, he was to give 3 steps to Vamanadev. And then in the night itself, Sukracharya warned to Bali Maharaj that he's actually cheating you. He'll take away everything from you, and he is Vishnu himself. And as Bali Maharaj actually is from Prahlad Maharaj, he says, if he is Vishnu, everything is coming from Vishnu, so I don't worry if he takes everything to me, right? And that's how dedicated Bali Maharaj was. So he kept his words towards Vamanadev, and he gave 3 steps, and Lord Vamanadev took everything from him. So that's why Sukracharya is one of the greatest politicians as well, and he's this Prabhupada mentions he's very intelligent, right? What's the time? Okay, we have good time. Text 38. Dando Damyatam Ashmi Nitir Ashmi Gisanatam Maunam Evashmi Viyanam Jnanam Jnanavatam Ham. So here again, Krishna says, Danda, punishment. Among all men of surpassing lawless, I am the punishment. Right? And of those who seek victory, I am the morality. And of secret things, I am the silence. And of the wise, I am the wisdom. So these are wise men, right? So the wise man, it means what? A wise man, they have good intelligence, they have good wisdom, and that wisdom is Krishna. And now from the secrets, the best way to keep a secret is to be silence. What we normally do, we tell to our friends, okay, this person has told not to speak to anyone, so I'm just speaking to you. You don't say to anyone else. But that's not silence. We have actually broken the secret. And that person, he says to someone else, says, okay, don't say to anyone. But that actually is no more secret. It's actually open to almost everyone, isn't it? And Krishna says, if you want to keep secret, the best secret is to be silence. And that's represent Krishna. And victory. So victory, you can be victorious from many, the different ways, but with morality, that represents Krishna. So victory with morality. And even for this one, punishment. So even sometimes it happens that to keep something, people to do something right, they need to have some punishment. So that's as to make something better. That's punishment is representing Krishna. So Prabhupada says there are many suppressing agents, of which the most important are those that cut down miscreants. When miscreants are punished, the agency of chastisement represents Krishna. So punishing a miscreant is actually representing Krishna. So and among those who are trying to be victorious in some field of activity, the most victorious element is morality, right? And among the confidential activities of hearing, thinking, and meditating, silence is the most important, because by silence one can make progress very quickly as well, right? And the wise man is he who can discriminate between the matter and spirit. So basically that is wise. So wise is not I mean, if you see about Bhagavad Gita, he doesn't talk about why is he getting a degree or PhD or some, from an university. The important thing to understand these two differences between the matter and spirit. So Prabhupada always says about three things. What three things are? One is, who am I? And second is, like, who is God? And third is, do I have a relationship between God? So understanding who am I am the spirit, soul, I am not this body, right? And then again, second is comes as who is God, understanding who God is, who is the supreme God. And third is understanding the relationship between these two. So who am I? I am spirit, soul, I am not this body. And who is God? The supreme God is Krishna. And third is understanding that I am the servant of Krishna, right? That's how these three things, if you can understand these three things, that is basically we can become wise, right? And last point line says that knowledge is Krishna himself, right? Understanding about the what is matter and spirit, understanding about the superior and inferior nature. So this material world is inferior nature, right? And the living entity is superior than, and the living entity is actually is bound to go back to spiritual world, not to live here. It's like prison, right? What happens if someone gets punishment? He goes to prison, isn't it? But the person in the prison, and we are outside of prison, we know that person actually should not live there. He should live with his family. Because he has done some crime, he is now being punished and he is in prison. But his real position is to be with his family, not in the prison. It means not to do some mischief. In the similar way, we the living entity are actually coming from a spiritual world. We are not from here, but due to some mischief we have done, we are in this material world as in prison. So we need to go back to our natural home, spiritual house, where we can serve Krishna. Okay, so text 39. Yach
Yach
chapi
chapi
sarva bhutanam
sarva bhutanam
bijam
bijam
tad
tad
aham
aham
Arjuna
Arjuna
na tad
na tad
asti
asti
vina
vina
yat
yat
syan
yan
maya
maya
bhutanam,
bhutanam
sorry, it's bhutanam,
bhutanam
characharam
characharam
yachapi sarva bhutanam
yachapi sarva bhutanam
bijam tad aham Arjuna
bijam tad aham Arjuna
na tad asti vina yat syan
na tad asti vina yatsya
maya bhutam characharam.
maya bhutam characharam.
So this is the last verse of what Krishna describing the opulences, right? What he says, furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed for all existence, right? Very important point, isn't it? So everything, the seed, Krishna explains also in one more verse, Am Bijam Pradapita. So Krishna is the seed giving father of every living entity. Even Krishna says there is no being moving or non-moving that can exist without me. Even non-moving, what to speak about moving, even non-moving, they cannot exist without Krishna. Right. So that's how Krishna ends his own opulences to Arjuna, so that we also can know and understand about Krishna. So here's Krishna saying, I am the seed generating, I'm generating seed of all existence. So seed, so if you know, so the generation, the birth happens in a different way. So some comes from seeds, like the plants, the trees, they grow from seeds. And if you see the bird, if you see ourselves, and some come from womb, and some comes from want to say something? Okay. Yeah. So some comes from the egg, some come from womb, some come from seed, in that way, but everything is actually Krishna is the originating seed for everyone, and nothing can be without Krishna, and even moving and non-moving. Even in one word where Krishna says that how Krishna is actually taking care of all this universe, even the moving and non-moving, right? So Prabhupada mentions everything has a cause, and that cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Right? Without his potency, neither the movable nor the immovable can exist. So whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. So that's why sometimes people say this is Maya, right? So anyway, so till now, in nearly around 20 verses, Krishna explains about his opulences, and now he's summarizing it again, what he's saying. Let's see. I think we'll cover these 2 more verses today. Right. Nanto
Nanto
ti
ti
mama
mama
divyanam
Divya
divyanam
vibhutinam
vibhutinam
parantapa
parantapa
esha
esha
uddeshatah
uddeshatah
prokto
prokto
bhoter
er
vistaro
vistaro
maya
maya
nanto asti mama divyanam
nanto mama divyanam
vibhutinam parantapa
vibhutinam param tapa
esha tuddeshatah prokto
esa tuddesata prokto
vibhutir vistaro maya.
vistaro maya.
Krishna very nicely says, O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestation. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Krishna started with saying the same thing, that my opulence is unlimited, but I'll say you some prominent one. And after describing, Krishna repeated the same word again. He said, these are the mere indication of my infinite opulences. These are just small things, right? It's not completely. And because his opulence is infinite. So Prabhupada says, as stated in the Vedic literature, although the opulences and energy of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. And therefore, not all of the opulences and energy can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. Because he wanted, had a desire to know about Krishna, Krishna explained something to him. And basically, it's a fruitful for us as well, because we know the qualities of Krishna as well. And text 41, he summarizes everything. I mean, you can say it's kind of a repetition, but this very glorious verse, this comes. Let's repeat the last verse for chapter 10. Yad vibhutimat
Vibhutimat
sattvam
Tattvam
Tattvam
Imad
Srimad
Srimad
Urjitam
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 Evava
Evava
Tattad
Tattat
Tattad
Eva Gacha
Eva
Eva Gacha
Tvam
Tvam
Mama Tejo
Mama
Tejo
Amsha
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 Sambhavam
Sambhava
Bhavam
Yadyad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam
Yadyad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam
Srimad Urjitam Evava
Srimad
Urjitam
Urjitam Evava
Tat Eva Gachatvam
Tattat
Eva Gachatvam
Mama Tejom Sasambhavam.
Mama
Mama
Tejo
Tejo Mat
Sambhavam.
Sambhavam.
See, very nice. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Can you imagine it? Krishna is saying it's actually just spark of my splendor. So see the fire and a spark. Can you compare the fire and a spark? There is no comparison, isn't it? The fire is actually fire. Fire can actually burn a forest. Fire can burn a country. Fire can burn a world. But a spark, it might not do anything. And Krishna is saying, all what I explained to you, actually, it's just a spark of everything. Right? That's how Krishna ends this chapter by saying the opulence of Krishna, that this is just a spark of everything. Right? So any glorious or beautiful existence should be understood to be a fragmental manifestation of Krishna's opulence, whether it be a spiritual or material world. Anything extraordinary, opulent, should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. So that's the understanding of Krishna's opulence, that whatever we see, actually, it's actually is coming from Krishna, is representing Krishna himself. If Krishna doesn't have the quality, we cannot have that quality at all. Not possible at all. And so everything, given the good and bad, actually is coming from Krishna. If you see, Bhagavatam explains about how the good qualities come from Brahma and from bad qualities from back of Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma is coming from Lord Krishna. So, and Krishna is giving all the knowledge to Brahma to create everything. So everything what we see here is a creation of Krishna's energy. And everything, all the opulent, this is the last line, very important, anything extraordinary opulent should be considered to represent Krishna's opulence. Right. So I think the last verse is a nice, I think, yeah, this is the last one. Let's go to the last one. Athava
Athava
Athva
bahune tena
Bahunayena
Tena
kim
Kim
jnatena
Jnatena
tavarjuna
Tavarjuna
Vishtabhyam
Vishtabhyam
idam krishnam
Idam Krishnam
ekamshena
Ekam
Ekamsena
stito
Sthito
Sito
jagat
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 athva bahune athva bahune tena
Athva Bahune Tena
kim gyatena tavarjuna
Kim Jnaneten Tarvarjuna
Vishtabhyam idam krishnam
Vishtapya
Vishtabhyam Idam Kristam
ekamshena stito jagat.
Ekam
Ekamsena Siton
Jagat
Jagat.
And now Krishna says, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. Right? Krishna says, he says here that from all opulent, beautiful, glorious creation is just a spark of my splendor. And now he's saying there is no need of any this detailed knowledge. Because Krishna says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. And not only just one universe, actually Krishna is maintaining unlimited universes. And not only just material world, also the spiritual world. So everything is in nutshell is actually maintained by Krishna himself. Created, maintained by Krishna himself. So the Supreme Lord is represented throughout the entire material universe by his entering into all things as super soul. So Krishna is pervading in every living entity as super soul, right? So that's how Prabhupada explains more about this thing. The last line, we'll read it again, says, from the Lord's Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets his power. And by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Krishna is worshipable. So Krishna creates the three things. One is creation happens, then one is destruction happens. And in between of that, there is a maintenance. Who is doing it? Krishna is creating through Brahma. Krishna is actually annihilating through Lord Shiva, the universes. And in the middle, Krishna is again maintaining himself. Right? How? Through sun and moon. So we see sun comes, day comes, moon comes, night comes. So that's how the day and night passes, and we are getting maintained. Right? So that's how chapter 10 is concluded, and thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the opulence of the absolute. So these are opulences of the absolute being described in chapter 10. And the next week we will discuss chapter 11. Sorry for taking a bit long time today. If anyone have any question or want to share something, please feel free to put in here. And thanks for joining.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll see you next week. We'll start chapter 11.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Everybody.
Prabhuji.
See you next week.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. How are you?
I'm fine, good. Prabhuji, I'll invite everyone
Yes, Mataji.